It started with a simple comment. It ended with his body on the pavement right behind me. The last time he told me he'd die for me, I was live streaming from a bell tower. I never thought he'd actually fucking do it. My name is Arlo. Or, that's the name people online know me by. Me and my best friend Zephyr, we run this channel where we explore abandoned places, not for ghosts or any of that bullshit, but for the history. For the quiet ache of a place that's been forgotten by the world. We started a few years back, just two guys with cheap headlamps and a GoPro, creeping through the husks of old factories and forgotten hospitals. We found a rhythm. I was the face, the one who'd talk to the camera and climb the sketchy ladder first. Zephyr was the artist, the one who saw the beauty in the decay, catching these incredible shots of sunlight cutting through grimy windows or ivy reclaiming a brick wall. People liked it. We built a small, dedicated following. It felt like a real community, you know? Just a bunch of us who appreciated the strange beauty of forgotten things. Zephyr was always the cautious one. "Check your six, man," he'd mutter every time we squeezed through a busted fence or pried open a boarded-up door. He was a worrier by nature. He saw the world as a series of potential disasters waiting to happen, while I just saw the next adventure. "Relax, Z," I'd always say. "The only things in here are rats and memories." I was wrong. Our first inkling that something was off was at the old Northwood Sanatorium. It was a massive, sprawling complex deep in the woods, a place where people used to go to die of consumption. The air in there was heavy and still. While filming in the children's ward, I saw something on a windowsill overlooking the dead courtyard. It was a small bird, carved from a single piece of dark wood, weathered like it had been there for years. It was beautiful, in a crude, lonely sort of way. I filmed it, thinking it was just a strange, sad piece of graffiti left by another explorer. We didn't think much of it. We posted the Northwood video a week later. It did pretty well. The comments started rolling in, the usual stuff. "Awesome explore. So creepy. You guys are crazy." Then I saw one that made the hairs on my arm stand up. It was from a user named 4arlo-alone-it. "I left you a gift. I would die for you, Arlo." My first thought was that it was a joke. Some edgy fan trying to sound deep. I replied with something lame, trying to brush it off. "Hey man, appreciate the love, but nobody needs to die for anyone, Lowell." His response was instant. A notification popped up before I could even lock my phone. "You do." I just hearted the comment and moved on. Or tried to. Zephyr saw it later and got quiet. "That's weird, man," was all he said. I told him he was overthinking it. A few weeks later, we were exploring a defunct steel mill on the industrial outskirts of the city. A cathedral of rust and shattered glass. We spent the whole day there, got some of our best footage ever. That night, I was back home, dumping the files onto my hard drive. I like to scrub through the raw footage before I start editing, just to see what we've got. And that's when I saw it. It was in a wide shot Zephyr had taken of me walking down a long, cavernous hall. Between two massive, silent machines, a shadow moved. It was quick, almost subliminal. I rewound it, played it frame by frame. There. For less than a second, a pale face peeked out from behind a pillar of rust, watching me. My blood went cold. I felt a tingling, prickling sensation spread across my scalp. No. Fucking way. We were there for 8 hours. We never saw or heard another soul. I frantically pulled up the raw footage from the Northwood Sanatorium. I spent an hour scanning, my eyes burning, until I found it. A faint reflection in the warped glass of an old medical cabinet. The same goddamn face. I sent the screenshots to Zephyr without any text. His phone call came 10 seconds later. He was breathing hard. "Arlo, what the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that?" I knew. I didn't want to know, but I knew. My fingers felt like clumsy sausages as I opened my DMs and found the user. "For Arlo Alonia. Were you at the steel mill?" I typed. The reply was instant, as always. "I'm always with you. You just don't see me." My hands were shaking. I was half angry, half terrified. "That's called stalking, you psycho. Stay the hell away from us." His response wasn't text. It was a picture. A photo of the little wooden bird from the sanatorium. It was sitting in the palm of his hand. And in the background, out of focus but unmistakable, was the front of my apartment building. My front door. My welcome mat. I slammed my laptop shut. I felt like I was going to be sick. This wasn't just some online weirdo. This was real. He knew where I lived. I blocked him on every platform I could think of, reported the account. Zephyr and I didn't film for 2 months. I bought new locks, a Ring camera. Every creak of my building's old pipes made me jump. Every person who held my gaze for a second too long on the street made my stomach clench. But the silence was just as loud. We'd started making real money from the channel, enough that Zephyr had quit his shitty barista job. The pressure to come back was huge. "We can't let this lunatic win," I told him over beers one night. "We'll be more careful. We'll stick to more public places for a while. We won't go so deep off the grid." He didn't like it, but he agreed. Rent was due. We started filming again, cautiously. Things felt normal for a while. The fear started to fade, replaced by the familiar thrill of exploring. We got bigger. Our follower count ticked past 100,000. We felt like we had our lives back. Then one night, after posting a new video, the comment came. A new username, but the same 4 words. "I would die for you. Arlo." I didn't even reply. I just blocked the account and threw my phone on the couch. An hour later, a new message request. It was from him. I don't know why I opened it. It was a link to some anonymous blog. The page was just plain white text on a black background. It was a journal. His journal. It detailed every single one of our explorations for the past year. He described conversations Zephyr and I had when we thought we were alone, whispered arguments about which hallway to take. He wrote down the brand of beef jerky I was eating at the old paper mill. He described a tear in Zephyr's jacket that he'd gotten on a piece of rebar, something that never even made it into the final video. He had been there, every single time, breathing the same dusty air. Watching. I felt violated, like he'd crawled inside my skin. I called the cops. They were sympathetic but told me there wasn't much they could do. Without a real name or a direct threat of violence, he was just a ghost. "Stay off the internet for a while, son," was the best advice they could offer. I should have listened. But I was angry. I felt like a cornered animal. So we did something stupid. We announced our biggest project yet, a live-streamed exploration of the abandoned Highbridge Tower downtown. It's a local landmark, supposedly haunted, right in the middle of the city. Our thinking was, there's no way he can follow us there. It's too public. We'd be safe. We were showing him we weren't afraid. The night of the stream is a blur. Thousands of people were watching. The comment section was flying by. We made our way up the echoing spiral staircase, the city lights twinkling through the tall, arched windows. We were on a high, the adrenaline was pumping. We finally made it to the top, the old observation deck right below the belfry. I was talking to the camera, telling some ghost story, my phone in my hand to read comments. It buzzed. A call from an unknown number. Against all reason, I answered it. I put it to my ear, turning away from the camera. "Hello?" A voice, thin and distorted by some kind of modulator, whispered, "Look down, Arlo." My heart stopped. I walked to the edge of the observation deck, to a massive window that overlooked the plaza 30 stories below. The live stream was still running. Zephyr was now talking, oblivious. I peered down into the darkness. There, standing in the middle of the empty plaza, directly under a streetlight, was a lone figure. He was wearing a bright red hoodie. He was looking right up at me. He raised a hand and waved. The voice on the phone spoke again, calm and serene. "I told you I'd do it. This is for you. My final gift." "No," I breathed, pressing my face against the cold glass. "Don't." Before I could shout, before I could do anything, the figure in the plaza was gone. My brain stuttered, trying to make sense of it. Did he run? And then I heard a sound from above us, a scrape of stone on stone. Zephyr turned to me. What was that? I looked up, towards the roof of the belfry, and then something fell past our window. A flash of red. It dropped with impossible speed, a silent, terrible meteor. A moment later, a sound rose from the street below. A wet, final thud that cut through the city noise and lodged itself forever in my brain. The live stream was still running. The police found the note clutched in his hand. It wasn't a note, not really. It was a photograph, grainy and dark, developed from film. It was me, asleep in my own bed. On the back, he had written 2 words, "You're welcome."